Tonight, a special edition of Crimewatch, where we ask you to name the rioters and looters who caused havoc across England. This is your chance to help ensure justice is done.
Hello and welcome to Crimewatch. We've got lots of important CCTV footage to show you tonight in the hope that you'll be able to name as many of the suspected rioters as possible. We begin here in Tottenham in North London, where the trouble started 12 days ago. The clean-up and rebuilding is now in full swing. Behind me, as is the police investigation into who is responsible for the violence. I'll be giving out the incident room numbers for you to call throughout the programme, but first a quick reminder of why the police so urgently need your help.
Last week, parts of England experienced some of the worst scenes of public disorder in living memory. We witnessed on live television shops being trashed, people's homes being burned to the ground and their livelihoods destroyed.
Because of the riots, we've lost everything in our home.
It all started on Saturday, the 6th of August. Protesters who had gathered after the police shooting of Tottenham man Mark Duggan soon found themselves joined by rioters hell-bent on trouble. And then the looting began.
Let's get some watches, man.
Over 3 days, a wave of copycat criminality spread across London. And once peaceful streets started to resemble war zones. By Tuesday, the looting and violence had spread across England.
I have this very clear message to those people who are responsible for this wrongdoing and criminality. You will feel the full force of the law.
With 16,000 officers on the beat, all police leave cancelled, and the introduction of special armoured vehicles, the fight back had begun. But then tragedy struck in Birmingham.
The Prime Minister has joined police and community leaders in Birmingham to call for calm there after the deaths of 3 men who were run over and killed during last night's violence.
Haroon Jahan and brothers Shizad Ali and Abdul Musavir were run over while trying to protect local businesses.
Why are we doing this? I lost my son. Step forward if you want to lose your sons. Otherwise, calm down and go home.
And the human cost has continued to rise. 26-year-old father of 4, Trevor Ellis, was shot dead in Croydon at the beginning of last week.
And 3 days later, Richard Mannington Bowes died from injuries he sustained during the riots in Ealing, West London.
Back where it all started in Tottenham, people whose homes were destroyed by fire are only just starting to come to terms with the devastation caused.
I have nothing left, actually. We have only the keys that doesn't open any door anymore.
When I come back to see this, nothing there, all my stuff, all our memories, everything is just gone. It's ashes now. You just feel so upset.
We'll be giving out information on victim support later in the programme. There have already been over 2,500 arrests, and courts have been working around the clock. Yet despite all the progress over the last week or so, the task of bringing all those responsible to account has really only just begun.
Well, you've seen again the shocking events of last week. Now it's time to help by naming those suspected of being involved. First, let's take a look at some of the CCTV from London.
midnight on Sunday the 7th of August at Quicksilver Games Arcade on High Road, Wood Green. A gang of troublemakers have come equipped. They head to the rear of the arcade where they rifle through staff handbags and the back offices seeing what they can lay their hands on. 2 people have already been arrested, but police want information on their mates. 20-1 on Sunday the 7th of August, and a horde of troublemakers gather around a police van parked on the junction of Lansdowne Road and Tottenham High Road. After unsuccessfully trying to tip it over, they take another approach, deciding to set it alight. Using some flammable liquid, they won't stop until the van is destroyed. Dragging a wheelie bin under the van and setting light to it, they don't give a second thought to the risks. They're endangering their own lives and those of others as the van explodes in a fireball. But there's still time to take a souvenir photo. What they don't know is the police have got them on camera too. Now, can you put a name to any of these faces? Wandsworth in London was an area hit hard by rioters on August the 8th, and police are keen to track down these 4. If you recognise any, make sure you take a note of each picture's unique reference number. In the early hours of Sunday the 7th of August, a cyclist on High Road Wood Green in Haringey is robbed of his bike by a gang, taking advantage of the police's stretched resources. He tries to resist, but he's pushed to the ground, and they make off with his bike. Do you know who they are? Were you the cyclist? Get in touch. A few minutes later, this hooded individual has taken an interest in a car parked on the same road in Haringey. He's got what looks like a petrol bomb. He and his associates seem to add fuel to the fire and build a makeshift roadblock. Within half an hour, the car's well alight. The police are keen to track down the suspected arsonist and his accomplices. Do you know who they are? While emergency services tackle blazes across the city, this firebug is doing his best to add to the mayhem. Right opposite the Carpetright building, which was destroyed during the riots, he brazenly tries to set light to the blinds through a smashed window in this council building. The police are very keen to talk to him. Can you help track him down? More faces now, this time from Peckham, which was the scene of much disorder on August the 7th. These people are wanted in connection with the rioting there. Again, make sure you note the reference numbers. Police were called to stop looters stealing from the Aristocrat menswear shop on the corner of Chingford Mount Road just after 1 a.m. on Monday the 8th. Suspects run out of the shop and into Royston Avenue. The police are in pursuit, but are hit by a green Citroen driving in the opposite direction, flooring 2 officers. One is left lying in the road, another collapses behind a pillar. Both were treated in hospital for their injuries. Police have arrested 2 men on suspicion of attempted murder. Do you know anyone who was involved? Have you seen the Citroen? Registration Y132GHJ. And do you know who was in it at the time? 20-7 on Monday the 8th of August at Clarence Road in Hackney. A line of police are battling to bring order to the streets. Several rioters throw missiles at the police, including this charming young lady. One group decides to break into a taxi before pushing it across the road. Then a crowd heads over to Western Union to run amok there. Have a good look at the crowd. See anyone you know? (10:20 at night on Monday the 8th, and Clapham Junction's Carphone warehouse is in the looters' sights. An innocent member of the public tries to dissuade anyone from entering the building after a window was smashed. They aren't put off, though, attacking him with a fire extinguisher. With him out of the way, they destroy the window and get through the metal shutter, flooding in to collect their loot. No arrests have been made yet, but can you put a name to the faces?
Links to all those images are on our website, bbc.co.uk/Crimewatch. Contact details for all the forces featured are also available by calling us on 08000 468 999. The Met's major investigation team are on 0208 345 4142. Or you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously on 0800 555 111. Or text Crimewatch directly on 63399. Type crime, space, and then your message. It's important to leave the space or your message won't get through. Now, to find out more about how the Met are handling this investigation, earlier I spoke to their Deputy Assistant Commissioner, Steve Kavanagh. Just how significant were these disturbances?
They were like something we've never seen on mainland UK before. The speed and the ferociousness of that violence shocked hardened officers. On the Sunday night, we mobilised, based on disorder in one borough, 3,000 officers. And by the Monday, within 48 hours, 6,000 officers, the equivalent of the whole of West Yorkshire Police. But we do know, because of those sad images on the Tuesday, those officers were stretched in a way London has never seen before. But I would like to say morale is fantastic at the moment. They're sleeping on floors in offices, they're sleeping in gyms. They are at the end of their tether with the hours they've been asked to do to keep London safe. I'm not hearing a moan come out of people.
So what's the next part of the police operation?
What we need to do now is build on that sense of community that we have across the UK. There will be images coming out of different forces. There'll be images coming out of London. Keep going back to our Flickr site. Keep checking your local papers. Give us a call. If they know people who are watching this programme with a stolen plasma TV, they need to let us know. It's with their support we will make a real difference and continue to fill the courts with the people who shattered our communities on those nights.
And at this command centre in West London, the hunt to identify rioters is on. 125 dedicated officers are scouring through more than 20,000 hours of footage, picking out images of people they hope you'll be able to name.
We work on a four eyes principle, so each piece of footage has to be seen by at least two detectives. They will look at a piece of footage such as we've got here, and from that they will grab images, the best still images they can, but we'll trawl through imagery that's before the event and after the event at places like transport hubs and places like that where the criminals won't expect us to be looking. And then those are the still images that we will pump out to the press and to the media and ask the public to help us identify those individuals. Where the public come in and where it's crucial from our point of view is that they look at the images and that they ring us up and say, anonymously, if they have to, they ring us up and say, I know that individual, he lives next door, he lives in the flat upstairs, and we will deal with it. And we'll put that person before the court and they can face justice.
And these images are available on the Met Police website for anyone to look.
Absolutely, and we're uploading that website every day.
Lots of arrests have been made, going up all the time, but
sure,
you're not stopping. You want to go after these people, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, my team work 24 hours a day on 12-hour shifts, and we're getting through this material and more is coming in. We will hunt down every one of these people.
And, of course, the huge task of sifting through all that CCTV is not just happening in London. It's going on right now in incident rooms across England. I'm now in Wolverhampton in the West Midlands, where 9 days ago violence and vandalism erupted, causing widespread damage to shops in the area. Now, I'm joined by two local businessmen who were severely affected by what happened. We've got Jason Odie, who runs this clothes shop. Tell us what happened.
Well, it was about 5:30 Tuesday afternoon. The shop got attacked. Staff were in the store. They had to run out the back of the store.
Your shop was full of clothes, quite high-value clothes, and it's absolutely empty now.
Yeah, there was just scraps left. You know, it was devastating, really. It was like locusts, that's all I can say, really.
Now, John, you own a jeweller's just up the road, and it's been around quite some time.
It's 163 years, Rav, yeah, so 6 generations.
Now, they didn't actually manage to get into your store because of the security measures that were in place, but they did cause a lot of damage to it.
Yes, I mean, we've got 11.5mm anti-bandit glass, which will take a good 20-minute assault before you'll penetrate it, and they must have been at it for a good 20 minutes.
Jason, John, thank you. Now, someone else who saw firsthand exactly what happened is PC Graham Lees from West Midlands Police. Now, Graham, you were on duty the day this happened. Tell us your side.
We turned up, showed an initial presence, and before long a firework came over the crowd. That exploded. One of my colleagues went down. Fortunately, he's OK. and that was it. Windows started going in, large-scale disorder. We were soon in our public order kit, running up and down the street with shields, dispersing the crowd.
And once you got kitted up, that wasn't the end of it, was it? It got worse.
We were bottled, we had bricks thrown at us. I copped an unfortunate half a brick on the inside of my arm, causing a bit of bruising, but it could have been a lot worse.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Not really. I've dealt with football disorder in the past, but this was on another level.
Graham, thank you very much. Now, thankfully, West Midlands Police have a huge array of CCTV. Now, it's your chance to help by naming them.
Police in Birmingham are very keen to speak to anyone who was in the city centre during the Troubles there. From 6:30 p.m. on Monday the 8th, crowds gathered in shopping areas around the city. Some were determined to cause mayhem and get hold of anything they could carry. The Bull Ring was a particular target during much of the Birmingham rioting on August the 8th. These faces were captured on camera after they entered the shopping centre illegally. Now it's time for them to be shopped. Make a note of each picture's unique reference number and get in touch. By the early hours of the 9th of August, the trouble had reached Bristol. Just after 2:20 in the morning, a group of almost a dozen people, one on a bike, gather at Cabot Circus shopping centre. They've come from the direction of Bond Street and St Matthias Park to the southeast of the centre and congregated at Hollister Street. They've got their eyes on the Thomas Sabo jewellery store on Brigstow Street. The police have caught up with 3 members of the group, so we've obscured their identities. But can you help bring the rest of them to justice? A male armed with a hammer has come prepared. As he rushes to the store, the group follow suit. The window is smashed and they grab what they can. The shop sells sterling silver jewellery and specialises in charms. Do you know anyone who's suddenly wearing or offering to sell this stuff? Police in Bristol are also trying to track down these people after disorder broke out on Monday the 8th of August in the city centre. See any familiar faces? If so, call tonight quoting the unique reference. The same night there was trouble in the St Paul's area of Bristol. Outside the Inkerman pub on Grosvenor Road, several people gathered, intent on causing trouble. Spot the male in the light-coloured cap, a light-coloured zip-up jacket with writing on the front, light blue jeans and white trainers. He covers his face with a black scarf and pushes a trailer into the police line. How about this one? Wearing a light zip-up jacket and dark-coloured trousers, he stands out from the crowd. He's keen to get the attention of the police line, repeatedly throwing missiles at them. Avon and Somerset Constabulary would like to talk to him. Do you know who he is? Here's another to look out for. The man with the red bandana pulled up over his face and wearing a black and red cap. He's got black material around his wrists and he's quick to join in throwing missiles at the police. If you recognise anyone from the Bristol disturbances, call Avon and Somerset Constabulary on 0845 456 7000. Back in Birmingham city centre on the 8th of August, in Temple Row and Upper Ball Street, property was destroyed and stock was stolen as the criminals made their way from business to business. They moved on through High Street and around the mailbox, targeting high-end designer shops. The Armani shop is raided, causing huge amounts of damage as thousands of pounds worth of goods are stolen. Have you been offered some cheap designer clothing recently? Or do you know anyone who went on this looting spree? West Midlands Police would love to hear from you. The trouble in Birmingham went on late into the night, and as well as potential looters, police say vital witnesses could have been caught on camera. So if you see someone you know, or if you recognise yourself, you may be able to provide crucial evidence. Please, do the right thing and get in touch tonight.
And links to all those images are on our website, bbc.co.uk/Crimewatch, and contact details for all the forces featured are also available by calling us on 08000 468 999. The West Midlands Police Incident Room is on 0345 113 5000, or you can text Crimewatch on 63399. Type crime, space, and then your message. Really important to leave that space or your message won't get through. Now, I'm in the Bullring in Birmingham city centre where the rioters struck 10 days ago. It seems this place is pretty much back to normal, but what's certainly unusual is this large van behind me with its massive screen on top displaying images. Now, to tell us more is Detective Chief Inspector Steve Reid from West Midlands Police. Good afternoon, Steve.
Good afternoon.
So tell me more about this big van that we can see behind us.
The digital image van enables us to get photographs of suspects out into the public domain as quickly as we possibly can. As you can see, busy areas like here in the Bullring and other areas across Birmingham and Wolverhampton have been used to get these images so that members of the public can see them and call us in with identification of suspects.
So you're really using it in the busiest areas possible, where the most sets of eyes are going to walk past and hopefully recognise some of these people.
Absolutely. We've had tremendous response from the community, including Birmingham City and West Bromwich Albion football clubs at the weekend, who allowed us to use the screens there, but also showed the images at half-time on the big screens within the grounds.
Have you ever used this sort of tactic before?
Not as an investigation tool, no. This is the first time that we've used it as a direct investigation tool.
You're going to do this until these people are caught, and you want to get that message out, don't you?
Absolutely. This will be ongoing. People can contact, they can see that they can view the images through the West Midlands Police website. The screen will be around and be used continually until we've managed to identify all the people involved.
Brilliant, Steve. Well, thanks for joining us, and good luck with the rest of the appeal, and let's hope some of those people get caught.
Thank you.
In Manchester and Salford, the violence seemed to overwhelm police on Tuesday of last week. Running battles were fought in several areas, with rioters attacking shops, police officers and setting light to vehicles. Well, this is Manchester Police's training centre, where officers learn how to control riot situations. And someone who was there at the time on the front line is Sergeant Simpson. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, Rob.
Now, you were there at the time, but how does a training environment compare to the real thing that you saw last Tuesday?
The training that we do here, we try and make it as realistic as we can, but the numbers we faced in Salford and the amount of missiles and weapons that we used against the officers was massive. Talking rioters numbering 300-400 at times around the precincts of Salford.
Now, tell us about the incident where you were called simply to protect firefighters that were called to put out a blaze that the rioters had started.
The fire service, they were trying to put out the fire at Lidl, and we're being overrun by a group of about 300 or 400 rioters. And as we turned into Fitzwarren Street, the amount of missiles that were being thrown was unbelievable. That attack at Lidl was by far worse than anything we've ever deployed to. The numbers and the ferocity of the attack, it was vicious, it was nasty, and they really, really wanted to hurt us. I really felt that someone was going to get killed, we were going to be overrun there.
Thanks for joining us. Now, we saw earlier how detectives have been using CCTV to identify suspected offenders. As a result, dozens of raids have been carried out in several English cities, including here in Manchester. And earlier this week, I spent a morning with one of the Met's arrest teams in London. They were on their 6th day in a row of early morning raids, following up on crucial intelligence they'd received about suspected looters.
Welcome to what is now the 6th day of warrants being executed on this borough since the outbreak of violence on Sunday and Monday. And what I want you to do this morning is to bear a couple of things in mind. The first thing is that we will remorselessly follow every piece of information and intelligence that we develop. Many of you would have been out on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night. Many of you would have seen that level of disorder. Many of you would have faced it. Most importantly, you would have seen the fear on the faces of the public who are coming up against this. And I want you to bear in mind the fear that was caused by those people when you go through these doors this morning.
It's the early hours of the morning, we're in Westminster in central London, and the police are about to round up some suspected looters.
They've just arrested 2 suspects in the flat, where they've found over £30,000 worth of suspected stolen merchandise. And even a London hire bike. And it's only just gone 8 in the morning.
As you can see, as a direct result of information to the police, officers up and down the country are making arrests just like this. So a warrant's just been executed in one of the flats behind me there. Was it a success?
Yeah, we've recovered stolen property, we've made 2 arrests, and not just the person out looting, because there are other members up there that have been receiving stolen goods, and they're now currently in my cells as well.
And this isn't the end of it for you, is it? It's early in the morning still, but this is still just the start.
This is just the beginning, and I want everyone to know out there, if you've got stolen property in your flats and houses, if you were out committing crime the other night, the Met Police will be knocking on your door very, very soon, because we are relentlessly going to pursue all of those that were committing crime and follow up every bit of information that's given to us by the public.
We've moved to Manchester city centre now, where many shops were attacked and looted. Ian Kinsella's joint owner of one of them, Bang & Olufsen here in King Street. And Ian, you were pretty much cleared out, weren't you?
Yeah, it was a total disaster. The mob or the riot crowd just completely trashed the shop. What wasn't taken was destroyed inside the shop, so yeah, it's been a complete nightmare.
You've been helping the police, and you know that they've made a few arrests already from your store, and hopefully more will continue.
Absolutely, yeah. They took some fantastic DNA, as well as the CCTV. There was blood on some of the TVs as the looters injured themselves getting into the store. They were that desperate to get at the equipment. And there are going to be some arrests and I've no doubt some prison sentences, which is great.
Ian, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now it's your time to help by having a look at our last batch of wanted faces and CCTV.
Tuesday the 9th and the riots have reached Manchester. A crowd gathers at the Arndale Centre, ready for trouble. They target the Foot Asylum store and use whatever they can to smash their way in, even a drain cover. After a couple of attempts, they're in, and they swarm all over the shop, taking what they fancy. Do you know who they are? Could you shop a looter? Over in Salford, a crowd gathers outside the Cash Converter store in the Shopping City precinct just after 8 p.m. on the 9th of August. They use a bin to hold open the metal shutter and gain entry to the shop, where they help themselves. Some make off with flat-screen TVs, others take game consoles, and some very distinctive musical instruments. Has anyone offered you one of these recently? The police are keen to speak to anyone who was in the area at the time and can provide useful information. Officers in Manchester are also looking for these faces. They were captured trespassing in the Tesco Express on Princess Street on August the 9th, just before 8 p.m. If you recognise them, call police tonight using the unique ID numbers. Meanwhile, over in Merseyside, these four are wanted in connection with the disorder in the south of Liverpool on August the 8th and 9th. Know them? Take down their reference numbers and get in touch. Back in Manchester, on Thomas Street, the 9th of August. A group of mostly young men gathers outside two jewellers. They work as a team to gain entry to Cathedral Jewellers and Alfred Mutter Limited. They attempt to conceal their identities, but those clothes are pretty distinctive. They ransack the place, trying to access the glass cabinets, looking to steal whatever they can. They're focused on getting the loot and getting out. Don't let them get away with it.
And I'm afraid that's about all we got time for now. But if you recognise any of the suspects from this area, then please contact Greater Manchester Police on 0161 856 2031. All the other phone numbers you need are coming up, and you can find links to all the CCTV we've featured at bbc.co.uk/Crimewatch. If you've been a victim of crime, don't forget the victim support line on 0845 30 30 900. We'll be back with our usual programme next month, but for now, thank you for all your calls. Goodbye.